it's hard enough maintaining a relationship with a person who might even just live across the street.
Isn't it ever? It is.
Uh-huh.
It is.
And now you've got the situation, New York, San Francisco.
Yeah.
And then, to an extent, who's going to, you know what I mean, give up the most to be with the other person?
No, I know. I mean, I just, as a woman, I just sort of freaked out for this story and just thought, why haven't we talked about this sooner? Because I certainly have been talking about it most of my life.
Yeah.
Because of my job, I'm always in long-distance relationships. So, you know, where do you give and take? Where do you meet? Halfway? How do you visit each other? You know, you try and make plans. It's very difficult for both people. And I just was like, oh my God, this is revelatory. I so relate to this. And then I think about, excuse me, kids in college. You know, they go off to different schools, and it kind of starts there.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, relationships take a lot of work, absolutely. But hopefully, you know, it's a joyful sort of process because you are laughing together, and there is so much love and sort of chemistry, and that it makes you want to sort of tear your hair out and figure it out because there's something there.
Right. Because even now, you just made me think of something. I can only imagine the days before cell phones, when you had to use a regular phone to try and catch up with somebody, and you know the people at Bell are just going, "This is great.
Right.
Stay on the line. You're going to make me a millionaire."
I kind of like, I have to say, I sort of miss that day and age because I feel like we're having a little bit of a false sense of intimacy with texting and you know. All of it. I just think interfacing, there's just really nothing like it.
Right.
You know, your guard comes down, you can look in someone's eyes. There's really nothing that really, really replaces it. And these are all sort of beautiful Band-Aids.
And something else that always gets involved, usually in relationship, is family. Christina Applegate plays your sister who loves you and is definitely overprotective of you.
No, it makes me laugh because she's so funny. I just think of her and I just start laughing. She's so awesome. Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to tell her we all use this one line, of course, statue. Had never heard that before.
Oh my God, I know. It's just this funny thing that they wrote, and it just became such a great running joke. She's just awesome. I mean, we grew up together, you know, quite a bit. We were in like a dance troupe when we were kids. Yeah. And she looked hot in spandex. I did not. But she really is one of the greatest comedians I've ever worked with. I ruined most of her takes because I was laughing through it. But I felt like we started to like morph into sisters. Like, you know, we started to look alike. And I love when, you know, two people are really believable as sisters. But we have known each other our whole lives. So it just sort of like, you know, coalesced beautifully.
You're a perfect sister.
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Ask my sister that. I don't know if she
Oh,
agree,
really?
But
I was going to say, because you love your sister, you're definitely very protective of her.
yeah.
And just even the looks that you're giving Justin's character in the beginning especially are like,
Yeah, no, that's how it is. I mean, I've found myself very protective of Drew anyway, just sort of innately, like as a person. Not that she needs protection. I mean, the girl is like, you know, a superstar mogul and she's doing fine on her own. But I just feel like I felt like an emotional kind of protection for her that we didn't have to fabricate in any way. It just sort of happened. And I've been there with, you know, my own sibling, bringing in people that, you know, maybe we don't, as a family, approve of so much. So, been there.
Well, Drew did tell me, I guess you guys started out together in like a little ballet troupe growing up.
Yeah, Julie O'Connell Dancers. She was this little thing. And of course, I was, you know, so much older and wiser is how I felt at the time. I mean, my God, what was I, 14 and she was 8? I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But yes, it was, yeah, I was in those dancers for a long time, that troupe.
Yeah.
She was in there.
She
really
said
cute.
That's almost how the sisterly thing started, you know.
Yeah, I remember, you know, I don't know if she has a much better memory of life than I do. I'm like the worst. But I do remember, like, one time her coming up to me and she just looked up at me with these little eyes and was like, "Hey, Christina." And she was this little thing with this cute little round face and, you know, this perfect little mouth and everything. And she was just this little, like, she was just so excited. And that's just something that I remember.
Right.
Vision.
Right. And like you said, hey, and it continues on now with the way you guys are working.
Except for I look at her that way now.
Hi,
Hi, Drew.
I was just saying, it's hard enough to maintain a relationship with a person who may just live across the street, let alone across country.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I don't do that. That's not how I roll. I'm much too codependent to have somebody not living at least like in the same house. Yeah.
And you and your husband are very funny in this movie too. The gentleman.
Yeah, Jim Gaffigan. He's great. He's a really funny guy.
So, like you said, people go out, they'll laugh, they'll also see a lot of themselves in it too. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think these are all very real characters, and you know, I think because Nanette sort of let us improv a lot and just kind of find, you know, who they really are. It seems like these are the relationships that people are having. These younger folks that are out there. Those young people.
They'll learn. As time goes on. Usually, long distance relationships, they sometimes don't even work when you're just dating somebody across town.
Yeah, exactly, right? I mean, it's hard enough to, a couple miles away can be hard enough. That's why whenever I start dating anyone, even the first date, I move in immediately. I like to just make things easier.
It does. It does.
On blind dates, I do that too. I just move right in when I pick the person up. It's sometimes been mistaken for, you know, assault.
Right.
But then I explain what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it seems to make sense. Yeah, it's a really hard thing.